Okay, at this point this is pretty much completely stripped out from tightening this bolt and this bolt. I would tighten them down, get them as tight as I possibly could, and then it would, I'd sit on it, ride it for a while, and then it would slip back. Now it just it's completely stripped, so it's completely useless. Okay, here's the scooter seat for the Solar P1 3.0, and going to show you a couple problems I found with it. First is, this is the original bolts that I had on here, and basically these just go around and clamp up on here, and then once you set the position, these little grooves are supposed to hold it in place, but I think these grooves are too small, at least for my weight. So I'm about 250, 260 pounds. So what would happen is this part here, normally the seat is up like this, and I'd have the seat position set, and then it would slip, so the seat would go back, and while I was riding or accelerate or anything, any force would just tilt the seat back, no matter how much I tightened it up. In fact, I tightened it up so much, it's completely stripped out this bolt. So Solar was cool enough to send me a new bolt. I didn't want to strip it out this time, so what I did was I put some JB Weld on it, and I put the JB Weld around this area here on both sides. So you see that in here and in here, and what that does is basically just this seat post here makes it, it's now welded to this position, so the position's fixed. I can't move it anymore, but I'm not ever going to want to ride with my seat up or down. I'm going to want it flat. So I already set the position that I wanted it, so I don't care about that. I can still, for portability, this still works, because this is this hinge here, so it's not affected, and I can still remove the seat because I didn't put any weld inside here. So since there's no weld in here, I can still take this whole piece off and put another seat on if I wanted a different seat. So that that fixed the problem of the seat moving back. I've ridden it several times now, and this weld holds just fine. One thing maybe to note is I marked the position. You see this gold paint right here? I just took a paint pen and I marked the alignment, because once I weld it, you can't change it again. So you want to make sure it you have the proper seat position. So I marked that, then I took it all apart, put the JB Weld in, and it's been holding up just fine. Okay, so next problem I've had is not really much of a problem, but my seat started turning. Now I usually walk my dog or run my dog with the scooter, and so if he sees a squirrel or something, gets pulled over to the side, that can jerk the seat. So inside here, you see that's just threaded, and you see this is kind of cool. I don't know, what is this? I don't know if octagon maybe. I don't know. I didn't count the sides, but you see these are right edges. So this part's not going to turn. It's just basically came loose from the threads, which isn't a problem. I'm just going to put some thread sealant on that. I'll try this one first because it's not permanent, and just see if that holds it well enough. If it doesn't, then I'll just use the permanent thread, because you're probably never going to undo this anyway, unless you change the spring in here. So if you want a different feel of the suspension, you could put a different spring in here. Now, one thing I noticed is this spring is still in this plastic wrapper. I'm not sure why. You know, I think just the way it came from the factory, nobody ever, oops, undid it. Now there is a washer at the bottom of that basically the spring sits on, so you got to make sure that's in there. So I've wiped all around these threads just to get reasonably clean, and I'm just going to put this all over. Okay. Interesting. I don't want the Loctite around this shaft. Now, the interesting thing is, this might be stripped out already because it just keeps spinning. So it's not going to lock in place. So what that means is my seat is still going to turn. So I don't think this Loctite is going to work in this case. You see it's still spinning, it just never... So these threads... Oh, wait a minute. There it goes. Nope. Still spins. I have the feeling these threads are stripped out. I'll leave the Loctite on and see if it works, but these threads may be stripped out. May need a new post. I looked at the threads on this post here, and it didn't look like, I didn't see that stripped out at all. So we'll see. Yeah, you see, it just still spins. It feels like it's supposed to catch there, but if I twist any more, it'll come off. Okay, so that's that's the two problems I have with this seat. One, you need, I'm guessing probably if you're over 200 pounds, you probably need to put some JB Weld here to make sure the seat doesn't slip. And again, just on there, so that way you can see it's still removable. If I didn't weld this bolt on, so I can take this bolt off, and this one side isn't welded, so I can pop that off, and then I can pull this seat post off and change the seat if I want. This is just a piece of plastic covering it to make sure that you don't pinch yourself or anything, because this seat post, it's going to, that's the little suspension part right there. Okay, so two problems. This thing gets stripped out, and these grooves aren't deep enough to support 250 pounds. All right, hope that helps.